Suneera Madhani. Suneera Madhani.
Without much further ado, I'd like to welcome Suneera.
Hi, I'm Suneera Madhani, a mom of two, daughter of an immigrant, and an unlikely entrepreneur who built a billion-dollar business. Yes, billion. Now I'm doing it again and building my second unicorn, Worth. Shockingly, less than 2% of female founders ever reach 1 million in revenue, and I'm on a mission to change that. At CEO School, we mentor thousands of women to help them level up in business and in life. We believe that you deserve to have it all because honestly, nothing bad happens when women make more money. Grab a seat because class is officially in session. Welcome to CEO School. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the CEO School podcast. It is fall. It is beautiful outside. I don't know where you are in the world listening or what the weather is like, but for us as Floridians, now is the time that we finally get to experience somewhat of some weather change. And don't laugh at me when I say this. I mean, it is still literally like 60 degrees, 70 degrees outside. But for us, it's so nice when we get a little bit of change in weather. It's been so hot this summer. And I'm so excited for the fall. Fall is definitely my favorite time of the year. And with that, of course, I pulled out every jacket, every pair of boots, even if the weather drops just even by 5 degrees, you will see all Floridians. I don't know if you can see me or not, but all the boots will be out immediately. And so I'm just so excited for the weather. I actually learned that September 21st is the first day of fall. That's my birthday. And so I don't know, maybe that's one of the reasons why I love this season, but I think it has a little bit to do with just the changing of colors and the fashion. And it's just really nice outside. And when the weather is nice, it feels great. Like it's just so nice. And being outside is so great and just being connected with nature. So the walks are just more beautiful. And we don't have this like beautiful fall foliage or anything. So I don't want to describe Orlando like that. Like we're nowhere in like this beautiful where the trees are lush and changing colors. Like we don't get that kind of season, but any sort of change in weather just feels amazing. And also with that, I've literally been on the road. Our event was so fantastic. I cannot wait to share all the details about it, but I was just so over the moon with just everything that took place in Vegas. It was so amazing to be back, to come back as, round 2. And I probably definitely put a lot of weight on myself coming back out to the market or coming back out in fintech to say, hey, here's what we're launching again. Here's what I'm doing again. But it also feels so amazing when you see faces that you love and and you respect, give you the respect back. And so I just felt just all of the warm and fuzzies being with my team, being at Money 2020 with Damon John, all of this stuff. So super success. And I just want to thank all of you for all the support near and far in getting us through this. Like this was like a big, big deal to come back out to market. So that's what I've been up to in startup life, in fintech life. And with that, it was also Halloween. And I don't know if you're subscribing to the Big Business Energy newsletter. So every week, I write the newsletter. I write it every Saturday for the following week, and it comes out every single Wednesday. So I want you to subscribe to the newsletter. It's something that I write personally. I have full ownership over the newsletter. I sit down and I write it. It is always me, and it's my thoughts. It's big business energy, so it's CEO school, and it's lessons that I'm learning, lessons that I've learned, but it's relevant to kind of what's happening today, what's happening in my world, what I'm seeing, as part of supporting women in business, what I'm hearing from the market. So it's also, it's not, dated. It's really relevant to what's taking place. And last week I spoke specifically on, because it was Halloween, and I did like 5 spooky truths about being a business owner, because let's face it, being a business owner is literally the scariest thing that you can do. And I wrote out 5 different things why I believe it's the scariest thing that we all do. And I would like an opportunity to do a little bit of voiceover around it, because I also just finished, so like this week, I completed a talk at UCF, which is our University of Central Florida. It is, I think it's the second largest university size-wise for the amount of students in the nation. It's so fantastic. And I did a talk for their College of Business to students, and specifically to the College of Business. And they've actually launched a fintech degree, which how cool is that? And I want to say that we were definitely an inspiration to that program. We created a very large fintech out of Orlando. Orlando is not a big fintech scene. And I think it's really awesome when universities pay attention to the market and the job market and what's happening. But how crazy is that we actually influenced in our own way now an entire college degree because of the success that we had as a company? Like, that is just very hard to fathom. And I got an opportunity to go to the college. I've been many, many times, but to go back, I even did the commencement for UCF College of Business 2 years ago. But being back, talking to the students, and then seeing actual young students, and it's so inspiring to meet the generation of tomorrow and learn about the fintech degree that I didn't get to have and now are part of. We did, we're paying it forward as well we created a scholarship so that we can support students that want to be part of the degree, but, may not have the funds to do so. So that was something really cool that Sal and I got to do as a family. And just even outside of the scholarship, like it was definitely like another pinch me moment. And I keep having these pinch me moments. But it's real. Like, it is real. That's why it is so important for us as women to be successful, because things like this could be your story too, in your community, in the things that you care about, and not just having an impact for your own business, right? So sometimes when you see the world from an outside in, or you watch, my life on Instagram, or you see the glitz and the glamour, right? There's so much that just my success had an impact on, not just for myself. And I want to be that reminder for all of you that it is important that you are successful. It is important that you succeed, because the causes that you care about, there will be a greater impact for those causes too. And so when I was chatting with these students, I was actually sharing, because they were had all these questions about entrepreneurship. And everyone is so eager to start a business, to get going. They don't want to be working for a 9-to-5. And I totally understand that. And obviously we've created, we're all entrepreneurs here that are listening. And so we understand that feeling. But I did share with them the importance of finishing, obviously, school, doing really well in school, the discipline that they can have in school and how they can continue to apply that, and getting a corporate job. And my corporate job allowed me to be as successful as I am in business. And I'm so grateful that I had 5 years of corporate experience before I went on to go start my business. And I had great bosses, and I had horrible bosses. And I had to show up to work on time, and to do the corporate red tape, and to put my name in the ringer, and all of the lessons in just time management and process management and dealing with people. There was so many things about my corporate career that I would never change. And I'm so grateful for that experience. So I shared a lot about that. And I also didn't try to scare them into entrepreneurship, but I think I did a little bit. But I'm just sharing the truth of how hard entrepreneurship is. And the young generation, their biggest source is social media. And so what you see on social media for entrepreneurship is not real, right? So last night, I was actually watching the stories of a friend that I follow online, Aditya, who is a queer South Asian makeup artist. And he is an amazing TikTok influencer, and he does the coolest makeup that I apply and that I always learn from him all the time. But he secured a partnership with Anastasia Beverly Hills for this Diwali lip kit. And he created 2 lip kits, and it's so amazing. And I got to watch him share his story about this awesome project, this collaboration. And then his husband actually came on screen. This was another video, but I caught his husband's video. And he came on screen, and he was sharing that he's so proud of Aditya. He's so proud of his partner. And that the side of entrepreneurship that everybody sees on his page, nobody sees how hard he's worked to secure that partnership. And, people assume that when you have, 10 million followers on TikTok or on social and all the things, and you have all of this audience, that the brand deals just come at you and money's coming at you. And it was just such a heartfelt video of his spouse sharing the pride that he felt in. He's I know Aditya is sharing all about this collection and what you see publicly, but he just wanted to share his voiceover on it doesn't just happen. He works tirelessly nonstop. He gets no's, more no's than he can count. And he did land this partnership, and it was through hard work, and it's through all the things. And it's not just like, just because he's got 1 million followers or however many followers that it just happens. And I just loved that story. And I loved, that spouse perspective on it. And so when I was talking to UCF, I was sharing that what we see online and what we see about entrepreneurship isn't the whole thing. It's just the highlight reel. And the 5 truths and the spooky truths and the scary truths, and that was something I was sharing on the Halloween newsletter, is that being a business owner is literally the scariest decision that you will make, and it is the hardest decision you will make. And so with that, here are the 5 spooky truths about it. And the first is it's fear of the unknown, right? So it's like you can't see what's ahead at all. Like every decision you're stepping into, you might have some information, you can have all the fact finding as possible, that you can get. But at the end of the day, you're still always taking risk. Like you're taking risk, and you have to get comfortable with taking that risk. You have to get comfortable with the fear of the unknown. You have to get comfortable not knowing what's on the other side and showing up anyway to do it. And that goes for a partnership deal. That goes for your collaboration deals. That goes for a customer. That goes for, your first hire, your 5th hire, your 100th hire. You're constantly taking risks, and you don't know what's ahead, and you have to make decisions in the unknown. That is just crazy in and of itself, right? Constantly making decisions and bets. That's a lot of adrenaline. That's a lot of risk taking. That's a lot of decision making that you have to get comfortable around. So that was number 1. Number 2 is the sleepless nights. Nobody talks about the sleepless nights. Your mind is going to be running at all hours. Not last night. Last night I slept. The night before I was up at 3:30 in the morning because I completely forgot about sending off this one email. And then it's somewhere in the back of my mind. I got up, I sent it on my phone. And then of course I'm I check the next thing. I check the next thing. Literally the next thing I know, it's 4:51. And I'd already cleaned up all my action items that I needed to. And that is not something that I'm proud of. I should have left my phone, and I try to have great boundaries, and I try to do all the things. And that's why all these reminders and all of these awesome life people, coaches, all the good stuff we see on social and other podcasts, we need that because we constantly need those reminders. But let's face it, the truth is that you are thinking about it at 2 a.m. And if you're not doing it, nobody else is. And so that's it. That's part of it. And so I'm guilty for it every day. I try to have better boundaries. It's not every night this happens, but it does. Recently, I'm back in startup mode. I'm back in building mode. You're constantly worried about, did this go out? And it's because you're the doer, right? You're the one that has to get it done or it's not going to happen. And it actually doesn't matter the phase of your entrepreneurship journey, because I used to have this myth, and I've been through all of the stages from start to exit. I always used to think that when I had X, I wouldn't have that problem. So when I had 10 employees, oh my God, that would just solve for everything. All right. It doesn't. At that point, the business is just more complex and there's more shit to solve. Right. And so then it's when we have X amount of revenue, when we have X amount of customers, every single level that you scale to, the business also becomes more complex with that. And so you are the one that still at every stage is the one that's worrying about it. And that's the hat that we wear as owners. That's the hat that we wear as CEOs. And it's the truth. I mean, the saying is I quit my 9 to 5 to work 24/7. It's real. And so that is the spooky truth, right? It's the fear of the unknown. And 2, it's the sleepless nights. It's part of what that is. And then 3, I spoke about the weight of responsibility. When you are the one in charge, it's not just your livelihood on the line. Man, I wish it was just my livelihood on the line. I'm too far deep right now, even in, I jumped back in to start Worth. It's been a year in this process. And I truly wish that it was just me, because I can make a decision today to not go in today if I didn't want to. I can make a decision today to say, I don't want to do it. But it doesn't work that way. When you have employees, when you have shareholders, when you have other people, when you have customers, now it's not about you anymore, right? You carry that weight, that responsibility as a business owner. And the pressure is real. It is so real. And the only thing that I want to remind you of is that you don't have to do it alone. And that was something that it took me a really long time to understand, is asking for help, sharing my vulnerabilities, constantly deciding what are priorities so other things can come off, right? So I don't have to carry all of the responsibility of everything. You can create a support system. And if you do feel like you don't have that support system, I want you to know that it's not just going to it's not going to fall in your lap. And so you have to be the one to say, okay, I'm going to zoom out of my business, right? And now is a great time, right? It's November right now. In every program that I'm coaching in, every place that I'm going, we're doing all of our 2025 planning right now. So 2025 planning is happening real right now for my business at Worth. That's everything that's happening inside of CEO School. And so if you're not part of our membership in CEO School, I am literally hosting 2025 planning workshop. You and I will sit together and we will do your 2025. I'm literally doing it for our members live November and December. And so this is the best time to join. I'm going to link it back in. It's so accessible. Let me take a look at your business and help you with that weight of responsibility on planning. But you have to delegate, you have to build systems, and you have to trust the team to lighten the load. Otherwise, not any successful company is run by a single person. You do need a team, you do need systems, and you do have to prioritize what you do. And I want you to do the things that you're really great at. But at the end of the day, the scary truth, the spooky truth is the fact that the weight of the responsibility is on you. That's it. So that's the truth. And then facing failure, right? In entrepreneurship, this is it. You are going at it and you're constantly being told no. There is not a single day that I just receive yeses from everything. Everything goes perfectly as planned. Nuh-uh, it does not exist, even in my world today. So I want to bring that back, that we have to embrace getting rejected. We have to embrace getting that no. And we have to embrace how we move through these pivots, right? And so we're constantly facing failure. We're constantly facing challenges. We're constantly facing mountains. And part of entrepreneurship is building that DNA that we're okay, yep, I'm getting back on the horse, right? Okay, we felt, okay, this is we got to know here. How are we pivoting to the left? And, we cross through this mountain or this barrier. And as soon as we're done, here's another one. So you have to get really good at solving problems, and you have to learn how to enjoy all of it at the same time, right? So I know today's spooky episode, so I'm trying to not, I want to give you the positivity as well, but it's just the harsh reality, right? It's the reality of it. So facing failure is number 4. It's hard and you're going to face it. That's just part of it. So buckle up, sister, because the no's are coming. And just because the no's are there, the huge part of here's where I'll give you some light, right? A big part of my success when I look back and I get asked that, it's what was the biggest thing that you've that made you successful? And it's because I didn't give up. Honestly, I just kept showing up. So half the battle is just, yep, there's a setback, or it's just learning how to pivot and still showing up anyway. It's looking rejection right in the eyes and saying, great, not right now, but here's another way that we can build this partnership, or here's another customer that I'm going to go after, or another partner. If it's a challenge with a team member, it's understanding, okay, what can I do differently to show up? And or is it time for us to move on and I need to go find the next person? And so whatever that challenge that you're facing, the biggest part is just showing up and getting through it. And when you do that, it's showing up the next day. And so the more you do it, that longer you're at this, the more likelihood of your success. So people who are successful, they just didn't give up that first time or the third time or that 100th time. They just kept going. And that it's a series of keep going that makes you successful. And so just show up, and you just showing up here today is a big part of it. So show up, keep yourself motivated, because you too can do it. You can face all of these challenges. It's part of it. And it's knowing that it's there, right? And number 5, let's be honest, this is the real one. Okay, so I always leave the big one for last, and the spookiest, the scariest, the hardest truth about being a business owner is that it is lonely. It is so lonely. It's lonely as fuck. Okay, it is the loneliest thing that you can do. I am so grateful that I do have business partners in my businesses. I definitely am a person of collaboration, and I look to my team in that way as well. But it's also just really hard, even with having partners and having whatever, it does feel still really lonely. There's only so many people that can relate to what you're going through. And at every stage, in every which way. Like I just feel so alone all the time. I really do. And I'm so grateful that I have my brother and he can relate to me in so many ways, but in so many ways he can't either. It's so hard doing this as a mother. It's so hard. I have no time right now. I've literally called my business coach down, and we're going to be doing 2 days of just my time management. Let me show you something. I'm bending over right now because like, I just want to show you like, this is what my life looks like nonstop. And I'm right now, if you can't see, I'm like flipping through my like printed calendar of like, these are just like, this was this week's like schedule. Like it's just nuts. No matter how hard I say no matter what, like there's just too much. There's too much to do. It's never ending. And I also need help to prioritize and say what can go. And it's hard. It's also really hard doing it all while trying to be a mom and be a wife and look put together. Like every 2 weeks I have to get my nails done and I have to make sure I'm presentable every day. Like these are things that like my business partners don't have to think of. And it's easy to say that like, oh, well, I do want to be presentable in the world. And I do want to ensure that I do have an image and I do feel confident when I show up the way that I do. But it's not self-created. If I didn't, then the world wouldn't take me seriously either in my role. And so it's just different. I think that there are things that are just fundamentally different for a man and a woman, especially, as we're navigating all of life and business. And so even with it all, I do feel it's so lonely. And then with success, let me tell you, once, it's already lonely, you doing this by yourself, taking the risk, right? Facing failure, the weight of the responsibility, the sleepless nights, the fear of the unknown, all the things we talked about. And then it does feel like it's all on your shoulders. And then wait till the success comes, because then it gets even lonelier, because that circle becomes smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And the rooms get smaller too. And for me, it's always been tough. And so it is important. The way that I've been able to combat it is finding community, right? That's what it is. And I'm actually so grateful because our retreat is coming up right now. So this episode's going to air, and I'm literally heading to Tucson for the Millionaire Founders Club retreat because I built that community of just 7 and 8 figure CEOs for us to get into the room 2 times a year, fall and spring, because that's usually like, it's so crazy. And like at this point I need a 6-month tune-up to surround myself with women who actually get it. And like, it's not about the speaker that comes or the lessons that we learned. Those things are great. The Ritz is going to be amazing, all of that. But it's honestly the connection. Like, that's why I go. That's why I prioritize doing what I do, because if I didn't do this part of my life, it would be like, I don't know if I'd be here standing talking. Like, I wouldn't be here. It would not be able to get through it without those women in my life that are at the stage that I'm at, that have the success, that have the heart, that want to be a great mom, that want to have spirit in their lives, that want to, that are ambitious and that are doing all of these things. And just to have that ear and to have that space and just to even have that tiny bit of relatability just goes a long way. So I just want to acknowledge that feeling for you wherever you are in your journey. If you are just starting up, it is that feeling, but you don't have to go to be at it alone. Really do find yourself a tribe. And you've heard me talk about this on many different episodes. So I've shared this in different ways. Your business tribe needs to look wildly different than like your life tribe as well, and then there is a mix where you can have some of that overlap. And I have my life tribe. I've got my girlfriends, and I've shared this with you. I've got different circles for different things. Like my best friends my best friend who I'm going to see in Chicago coming up for her baby shower, she's the most amazing corporate executive. I relate to her in so many different ways. She knows me inside and out. We've been best friends for over 20 plus years. The woman is like the hardest person on me as well, in the best possible ways. The one person that I'm scared of more than my mother or my brother is my best friend, because she holds me accountable. And she knows me. She knows my DNA. And that life friendship is so important. It's so different. but but she doesn't relate to the things that are on my full plate from a work responsibility standpoint, or understand the day-to-day of, of being a CEO, and I'm sure, and when I talk to her, it's not like she can't relate to it, but how much of my ear am I going to take of our time to talk about my business stuff, right? And so having business besties is so different, and having women that are in that same life journey as me, we can overlap and relate on those things. So it's okay to call your bestie for life advice, and it's okay to call your business bestie for business advice, right? And business and life advice as well. And so I just want you to be able to have that tribe. I found it so late, and that was the biggest part of why CEO School and all of us was born. And I just want you to know that you are not alone, and that I'm here, and that CEO School is here. Our community is here. We have Founders Club. And this was in no way, this is not a push for any of our stuff. Like, genuinely, this is why this was created. So come in, find a business tribe. And if it's not us, find that in your community, because surrounding yourself with people who just get it will take the edge off of those spooky solo moments that we constantly face as entrepreneurs. So my ending thoughts are that being an entrepreneur is scary. It is probably scarier than anything that you've ever done. It is also the hardest thing that you've ever done. It is still going to continue to be hard. And the biggest advice, like the biggest thing that I share, is that it doesn't get easier. And I like to keep it real. And I want to be honest with you. I've been there. I've done it. It does not get easier, but you do get better. So you get better. It doesn't get easier. And you navigate through that, and you're able to come from experience. You tackle things differently because you've gone through every level of it. You show up with that different set of experience. And so I just want to share that with you, that it doesn't get easier, but you get better. And so trust in that. Your why is so important, of why you're showing up every day. That's what gets me through it. That's what's going to get you through it. And you don't have to do it alone. The fear of the unknown, the sleepless nights, the weight of the responsibility, facing failure, all of it, we're going to get through it together. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for all of you. I hope you enjoyed today's episode with these lessons that I've shared in entrepreneurship to UCF, the lessons I'm learning again along the way. If you did enjoy today's episode, or you related to it, or you felt like, man, you're right. And I just want you to know you can do hard things. Like, you really, that's what we're here for. In anything that is worth doing is hard, right? If it was easy, then everybody would do it. Everybody tries to do it, right? Everybody tries to do it. But they are, everybody tries to do it, but execution is what makes you an entrepreneur, and you're here to execute. And that's what CEO School is all about. So I'll see you next week at CEO School. Come bring the energy, fall energy. I hope you're joining me on a fun walk, a stroll. If you loved today's episode, please leave us a review. It would mean the world to me if you could just take 2 minutes out of your busy day. I show up for you every single week. This is my way of connecting with you. I would love to hear from you. Share this on social. Share it with an entrepreneur friend who needs to hear this today, so that she too can get through her crazy busy week. Sending all my love. See you next week.